Hey guys, Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. Every other week we play Let's Craft Live. It's a live video on Facebook so that you on YouTube don't miss out. I'll come back and do a clean video. But if you'd like to play along with us, I'd like to invite you every other Thursday at 2 p.m. at facebook.com/kitchentablestamper. We get together and we craft. The Wednesday before, I give you a list of measurements and supplies that you'll need with some hints about what we're doing included. This is our project for this week. We're doing a gift card holder. It's kind of a fun fold card. Merry Christmas. May your season be one that's festive and fun. And then inside, Happy Christmas wishes. And there's a pocket here for a thin treat or a gift card or two. I got two, so I have some props here for the next card. But just a cool, fun flip-flap card just in time for holiday gift card giving. All right, let's get started. We're going to do some stamping first here. I've got some scraps. I've got pecan pie, real red, basic white, and old olive. And we're going to use the Precious Pinecones and Merry and Bright stamp sets for our images and our label greetings. And then I love the style of the font for festive and fun. With these label greetings, we're going to use these inside and our inside greeting from festive fun. All right, let's get stamping. All right, I have real red, cherry cobbler, early espresso, and old olive. We're going to do some pine cones on this pecan pie. Now, the Precious Pinecones is a really cool reversible stamp. So you can do the pine cone details, and then you can flip the stamp over, clean it, flip it over, and then you get a solid stamp that you can stamp over. So it's a reversible two-step stamp. We're going to just use it as a regular stamp image, and we're doing kind of color buddies with the early espresso and the pecan pie. There's two sizes of this pine cone in the Precious Pinecones. I love pine cones for this season. We're going to do two of the larger one and one of the smaller one. Two for the outside and then one for the inside. Let me set that one aside. We're going to do some little bows. I've got two different sizes in this Precious Pinecone set. So two size bows and two size pine cones. We're going to do three of the small bow and one of the larger bow. Now, for the magic of television, I did my small bows. We're just going to do stamp the large one for demonstration purposes. It's old olive on old olive cardstock. And we'll set those guys aside. Give them a second to dry before we start cutting. And then on our real red, we're going to do another color buddies. We're going to do a cherry cobbler bow on real red. Give that a second to transfer. We really want a nice solid image. There's our bow. Give that a second to dry before we cut these out. Let's do some greetings. I've got a scrap of basic white and we're going to do Merry Christmas. Again, with the cherry cobbler, you want to give it a second to transfer. Really get a nice solid label. So pretty. I love these little greetings. They make a big pop, a big statement on your card, and they're so easy. All right, there's our Merry Christmas. Now, I'm going to switch to real red for the inside of my card, the inside greeting and the inside greeting. My inside greeting, I love this May your season be one that's festive and fun, because it fits perfectly on this little banner. It's a pierced banner, and we cut that one using the Stylish Shapes dies. It's the biggest widest, longest banner. And then for the inside greeting, we have Happy Christmas Wishes. And this is just a scrap. I think it's 3 1/4 by 3/8 of an inch. And it's a perfect little banner for the inside. So I'm going to do those in real red. And we just want to center this guy. Lovely. And we're going to put this guy high of center so that there's a little bit of room to decorate with one of our little bows. You don't want to press too hard because it's such a fine font. Just the pressure of your hand resting on the stamp, and then lift straight up, and you should have a nice crisp greeting. All right, that's our stamping. Let's clear away the ink pads, and we're going to do some fussy cutting. Okay, I've done ahead some of my duplicate pieces, but now we're just going to cut out with a little border of color. So you don't want to cut right on the image. You want to turn the image, not the scissors, and just give a little bubble cut. It's not difficult cutting because they're really mostly just bubble cut images. All right, there's the cutting of our elements. Aren't they beautiful with the tone on tone stamping? They just are. This is what I love best about winter right here. And now our greeting for the outside, little Merry Christmas. We're going to leave a small white border. It's so nice and easy, just straight lines, and trim them right out. Now we can slide these all aside and get to work on the structure of our flip flap gift card holder. All right, so we've got some pieces here. Let's start with our base pieces. I have Early Espresso cardstock, and these are 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. So I have a standard card base. And then this is 4 by 5 1/4, and it's scored at 2 inches on the 5 1/4 inch side. So those are our base pieces. Let's get those folded up, and then we can go through our Designer Series paper pieces. All right, so basically we have a regular card and a small card, right? Our Designer Series paper pieces, I did 4 different patterns for mine. This also works very nicely with 2 patterns. And then I have A, B, C, D papers here. You could also do A, B, A, and then it doesn't matter A or B. So you can either do 4 different patterns like I did, or you can do 2 patterns. Let me show you an example of 2 pattern for this gift card holder. So here's one with an AB pattern. Instead of 4 different patterns, we have the A pattern for this small card, for our wallpaper, and for our pockets. And then the B pattern is a coordinating pattern for this inside panel on the small card. See? So when you choose your Designer Series papers, 2 patterns that coordinate or 4 patterns that coordinate are your best choices for this. Got some liquid glue here, and we're going to start with our standard card base. This is our first panel of Designer Series paper. It is 4 by 5 1/4. All these measurements are on the printable project sheet at kitchentablestamper.com. You'll just look if you're watching on YouTube. In the description, you'll see for project details, click here. It'll take you to the blog. When you get to the blog, you'll look for today's project sheet button underneath the embedded video. You just click that, and there will be a PDF there for you with all the measurements. Now for our small card, we have 2 pieces of designer series paper. And these are both 3 3/4 tall. This one is 1 3/4 and this one is 3 inches. All right, and we're gonna put those on our small card. On the outside and then on the inside. Now we can go ahead and adhere our small card to the outside of our large card, and now we're getting that flip flap going on here. Or just center it, open it up and burnish it. Ah, beautiful. Aren't these papers gorgeous? All right, since we've got this little greeting and it's all ready, let's go ahead and adhere that to the inside of the card, and you want to make sure that it's centered top to bottom but all the way in, and the flap covers it. We don't want anything sticking out when the card's closed. And we're going to now go to this last piece of designer series paper. Well, it's the second to last. There is one more piece, but it's optional. This piece is 4 inches by 2.5 inches. We are going to use that one to make a little pocket for a gift card, or you can fill this with some tags and some beautiful messages or some pictures of the grandkids. This little pocket can take any little flat gift or treat or messages that you want to add. You can put if you do a Christmas newsletter, you can put, say, a half sheet. If it's a short little Christmas newsletter, you could tuck that in there. There's all kinds of fun things you can put in that little pocket. Now, if you know me at all, you know that my eyes are not on center. And so I don't trust myself. I'm going to get my grid paper here and use the centering ruler. I'll mark center with a marker, and then I'm going to get a 2-inch circle punch. Love the centering ruler on the grid paper. There's also a centering ruler on your Simply Score tool. And I'm going to cut a little notch using the 2-inch circle punch and the little mark that we made as center. I get much better results if I use a centering ruler and mark. Now inside the card, we're going to add a little pocket, and I like to do my little pocket with liquid glue because you can use the smallest little bead all the way around, which makes it easier to put different things in the pocket. So I'm going to take my pocket and my liquid glue. If you want to, because this pocket is kind of dark on the back side, and you can do and you're putting it on early espresso, you can do a quick little line around the pocket using the brush end of your Stampin' Up marker, and then you won't see that white edge against your early espresso card base. Just a little tip, you could use early espresso here too, or even pebbled path, because the other side of that paper is pebbled path. But a dark Stampin' Up marker will really cut down on how much you see that cut edge against this dark color card base. All right, I'm going to do my liquid glue here, just a very fine little bead, and then I'm going to spread it out with the tip of the bottle. Really, less is more. You don't need a solid line. Almost no pressure on the bottle. Now, if you are not super tiny with the liquid glue, you can use tear and tape here. I'd recommend that you use the tear and tape off the edge. So what you do is put half the width of the tear and tape on the pocket, and then flip the tape so you fold it in half. That way you still get a nice wide pocket, and you can use a dry adhesive if that works better for you. We're gonna go ahead and adhere our pocket to the inside of the card. Make sure that the pocket makes contact with the card base. And if you get any seepage, this is where you can take the little edge of a baby wipe or a tissue your index finger and just run, make sure that there's no extra glue. All right, we've got our little pocket, perfect for a gift card. I love it. Inside liner for the card is 3 3/4 by 5. It's basic white cardstock. We're gonna pop that on. Now it's time for our little optional piece of designer series paper. This is actually the scrap that was left when I cut the card front. See? So I thought, why let that go to waste? It's 3/4 of an inch, and I cut it down to 3 3/4 to match the inside of our card to line up with the liner. And again, we're gonna use this side that's like pebbled path, and I don't want to see that edge. Sometimes the paper trimmer can be a little rough, and against a dark pattern like that, it just cleans it up a little bit. I'm gonna put some liquid glue and pop that in. Let me show you what we're doing here. I'm gonna pop that in, and it gives us also a nice contrast for that little sentiment banner. We're doing the inside of the card before the outside. All right, then our pine cone, one of the small bows. One of the bows. Add a little seepage there, which is perfect. It's gonna help to hold our bow. I'm going to move that all to the side because now we've got our happy Christmas witches, and I'm going to cut some chicken lips on both ends of the banner here. I like to use my little retired tailored tag punch. You can do that with scissors or the same way using the corner of a square punch if you've got a square punch. It makes really quick, easy work of chicken lips. I don't know how I lived without that. And then our happy Christmas. We don't want to cover all the bow. Gotta maybe slide that down a bit. I love liquid glue. It gives me a little bit of a chance to arrange my pieces or shift my layers and make them level. Isn't that beautiful? Inside is as pretty as the outside on this one. All right, so we did the inside. Let's do the inside of our little flap, and we're just going to add a bow underneath our sentiment. Go easy on the glue. Nowhere to hide any seepage this time. And just a fun little bit of color. Makes it kind of festive, doesn't it? All right, for the outside, I have a deckled circle. Now, I haven't made a chart for these deckled circles yet. There's so many of them. It's going to be quite a large chart. But it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the 6th one from the inside. I think it's about 2 3/4. Okay, so if you're substituting something that isn't a deckled circle, about 2 3/4 inch circle. And we're going to put adhesive only on one side and then adhere that hive center. And then our bigger pine cone with liquid glue. So pretty. I love the pine cones. And then our smaller pine cone with some dimensionals. And the bows with some liquid glue. You can't go past this edge, this fold edge. You could go past the bottom edge. You could go past the right edge of the small card. You could go past the top. But if you go past the fold edge, then that element is going to impede the opening of the card. All right, so keep that in mind as you're placing your bows. You don't want them to go past the fold. And I'm just going to put them down with a little bit of liquid glue right down the center so that they still have a little lift. I want some dimensional for my bow. So I'm going to just get a half of one here and put it right under the knot. Pop that guy on. So pretty, so festive. There. Our Merry Christmas greeting, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the center of Christmas and start with that. Tug it right up against my greenery. And then same with Mary, a little bit right on the center. And put that one above Merry Christmas. Last touch is embellishments. I have these neutral adhesive backed sequins. I love the colors in this. Oh my gosh, they come in so handy. I'm going to use these silvery white ones. I think they look kind of snowy. I have a couple of extras from another project right here. Let's use those up first. And you can do 3 or you can do 5. I think I'm going to go back and put 2 more on this card. And I'm going to put them on the designer series paper here so that when you open the card, there's still one more little detail. Let's do the same for this one. And there it is. There is our Flip Flap Let's Craft Live gift card holder. I hope you'll consider joining us in 2 weeks. Let's Craft Live. If you've got any questions about the project, you can email us, staycrafty@kitchentablestamper.com. To shop Stampin' Up 24/7, you can buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net and click shop. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.